When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
Appreciate that, man. Dude, I'll tell you, man, it's been that experience was one that I definitely wouldn't want to remove from my life. You know, there was a lot of stuff over the course of, I think, the almost 4 years that I was there that it goes beyond just life lessons. Like, it taught me so many things, not just about business and what to do and what not to do, but it taught me a lot about myself and really helped me establish what lines am I not going to cross.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another show of the Determined Society. I have with me today, guys, another special treat, someone that means a lot to me, someone who's a close friend, and we have grown very close over the last 2 to 3 years. And it is someone who I hold in high regard because of his integrity, his love for Christ, and he's outspoken about his faith, which, by the way, is not happening enough in his profession. And it's actually sad. There's actually entrepreneurs and online trainers that are losing business and losing following and an audience when they start speaking about their faith. Maybe we'll touch on that today, guys. I don't know. If I know this guy, we will probably touch on that a little bit, but I want to take some time and really honor this gentleman as a husband, a father. He has a young son named Ryder and two boys on the way. His wife is pregnant with twins. They do everything big in that household. They're going from 1 to 3. They went from a Cherokee to a minivan. I want to welcome my boy, an amazing online fitness coach and nutrition coach, Triune Fitness, Josh Marciano. What's up, buddy?
What's up, brother? Dude, I'm blessed to be able to be on this show, guys. I like Shawn said, we met a couple years ago, man, and I immediately knew he was one of those guys that I needed in my circle. I needed in my life. He's a great dude. He's been a great mentor for me through a lot of stuff as I've started growing my business. And man, it's been awesome, dude. I'm pumped to be on here, pumped to deliver some value and get into some interesting stuff today for sure.
Well, bro, it's been a long time coming, right? It's been one of those things where I think in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I really got to have Josh on. I mean, it always kind of worked out that I'd have, a trainer on. I'm like, dang it. Like, now I got to wait, but it just really worked out timing wise. And, I really love your journey, and, we'll get into it a little bit here in a second, but, I want to rewind. I immediately, when I met you at that shitty gym in Fort Myers that you used to work at, the one that ran by Adolf, the thing is like, you were a bright, shiny light in that place. But the problem was, you had this hard exterior shell that I feel once you exited, it kind of broke away. And then, the real Josh started coming out. And I got to tell you, I got to commend you in a sense that nowadays I can see your heart 100% of the time. Whereas back then, to be honest with you, man, it was like 50-50. But I still loved you. You're still my guy.
Yeah.
I saw who you were. But it's just nice to have you, living in your truth 24/7, 365.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Dude, I'll tell you, man, it's been that experience was one that I definitely wouldn't want to remove from my life. You know, there was a lot of stuff over the course of, I think, the almost 4 years that I was there that it goes beyond just life lessons. Like, it taught me so many things, not just about business and what to do and what not to do, but it taught me a lot about myself and really helped me establish what lines am I not going to cross. How we all have to sacrifice things when it comes to our job, but I feel like a lot of people end up sacrificing more and more and more of their morals and their character and stuff just because they're chasing a paycheck or just because they're chasing a raise or a promise, given by somebody else. And I had to eventually come to a point where I said, I'm not willing to keep sacrificing anymore myself. I think what you said is spot on. I've always been a pretty charismatic guy. I've always been an outgoing guy. I love being energetic around people because I truly believe that energy is contagious. So for me, I did see a little bit of myself starting to go just in regards to the hours and the schedule. And to be honest with you, just a lot of the soft stuff that was going on behind the scenes. We've all been there, and it goes beyond just like not having the best boss. It just wasn't the best situation. It was kind of draining a lot of that passion and energy that I had. And when I was
Mm.
able to finally leave, I got back to being who I was and who I was meant to be. And I think the biggest reason for that was because I felt like God had called me to leave. I felt like He had asked me to step into a different frame. And dude, every time I don't do what He wants me to do, it doesn't go the way I think. But as soon as I kind of, batten the hatches and roll with it
Mhm.
and execute the plan He has for me, I'm not saying it's easy by any means. It hasn't been, but all of that energy and passion and willingness to overcome things just floods you because you're doing what you're called to do. So that was big for me, man.
Man, I got to tell you, because you and I have spoke about, not at detail, right? I don't want to get his G string in a bunch, but not in detail. It just I know some of the stuff that at a high level that was going on. It was very scary, right? Like, it was very scary, that exit. It was happiness, then it was like someone coming after you for something that you just want to
Yeah.
do. And I don't think we should ever you know be hindered
Mm.
by our previous leader. Um, but I just got to say, I commend you for digging your heels in and keep going, because a lot of people that don't have the faith that you have and that inner confidence would have just said, okay, the guy has more money than I do. That's clear, right? He's got more money than me too. Congratulations. We can measure penises later. It's fine. But it's more than that,
Yeah.
right? It's like, most people would have quit, right? But you didn't. And so I just want to acknowledge you on air and in front of everybody who's watching on the TV show, in front of everybody who's going to listen to it just in audio format. Like, you're the dude, man, and I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I don't always think I'm the dude, but I can tell you, man, it was just like you said. There were too many red flags, too many things that come up, and I think that there's a difference in perseverance and just kind of being a part of the track. And when I say that, I mean like you're either a part of the train or you're a part of the track. I think that, like I said, when it comes to drawing that line, you have to be willing to say, is this something I'm going to persevere through, or am I using that as an excuse to just let somebody continually run me over? Um,
Hmm.
and that was really what it came down to, man. At the end of the day, I left because I didn't like how some people were being treated. There were multiple things that had got on in the year that I had just kind of turned a blind eye to a little bit, and I couldn't do it anymore. I felt very convicted myself to be putting my face, my name, my reputation that I worked really hard to build along with all of that stuff. So that was one reason. But dude, the another big reason was exactly what you said. I will never understand hindering anyone from growth, whether it's with your company, with a different company, with whatever else. And I've said earlier when I made a comment about I learned what not to do. One of my goals is to get my business big enough one day to where someone can come up to me and feel comfortable enough to say, "Hey, man, I love what I'm doing for you, and I want to do it on my own." And there's not going to be non-competes or non-solicits or this. It's going to be, what do you need to get it going? How much do you need
Hmm.
to get it going? And what do you need from me to make it successful? Because I don't want people to go through what I went through my first year on my
Yeah.
own. I just feel like
Yeah.
that's not the mark of a true leader. I want to help
Yeah.
impact somebody's life so they can take care of their family, and then they can help impact other people's lives. I think it's how everybody should approach it too.
That's a very interesting point, Josh. Talking about there's one specific question you asked in that hypothetical situation that will in time happen.
Mhm.
By the way, is not what do you need, but how much do you
Yeah.
need? That's a leader. right? And for those of you listening and watching, I want you to really take notice of that question. How much do you need? Right? It's not him stating like, I see an investment opportunity to make money on the back. And it's like, okay, you're starting out. I know how hard it was for me starting out, right? With lack of capital, whatever it is. How can I help you get going? Right? Because you're never going to lose clients. You're never going to lose your financial stability if you approach things in that manner. But if you look at things in a sense of, this guy's leaving me, he's an a-hole, I'm going to stick it to him, in a 20 something year old girl who's amazing, by the way, one of the sweetest girls on the planet. Hi, Lily. Is the fact that, that comes around just in the natural. Karma can either be the B word, or it could be, something of value. I mean, it can come with strong hands or glove hands, dude. And we control that. So yeah, man, that's an important point. And I know that one day when you're able to, when someone tries to leave your company, you're going to be like, exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
What do you need? Let me help
Yeah,
you.
dude. How many one of the best things that I love about you, and to be honest with you, I had never heard anyone say it, because I grew up in an extremely, extremely competitive household. And
Yeah.
dude, you're a winner or you're a loser. And don't get me wrong, I love my dad to this day. I don't know anyone that works at the level that dude does, but I feel like there was a bit of a sub clause missing in that. And I've heard you say it multiple times, and it's like, dude, not just you has to win. Other people can win.
Yeah.
Everybody can win. And there's one thing that I've learned in being in my field the past year and a half now. There are so many people and there is so much money out there. If you build a scarcity mindset where you think, oh, I have to crush everybody else in order for me to be successful, you have no concept of the actual money that is out there. If that's just what you're focused on, which usually when people have that mentality, that's what it is. But dude, I'm in a group with thousands of other online coaches, and they're all my competitor. We are celebrating each other every single day, because there's not enough clients for, like, there's too many clients for all of us to go around, if that makes sense. Why do I want to see somebody else lose? If my true mission is to help people, as far as fitness and stuff goes, if I want to help people change their lives and build a healthier body and build a bulletproof mindset and all this stuff, why am I not going to cheer for somebody else that's doing the same thing just because my logo isn't on their shirt? Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. I think the big thing is we're so caught up in this antiquated approach to competition. Let's think about it as inspiration, y'all. Like, allow that individual, as long as they're doing things the right way. Now, don't get me wrong. I also have a sub clause. Okay. And I'm going to get to that because I want to talk about it. Because one of your talking points is all the BS that's peddled on social media. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there, brother. And we're an audience. You're going to need to put your damn seatbelts on, because we're going to get really authentic with it. And as you can already tell, if you haven't watched my show or listened to my show yet, I don't have a filter. Okay. I really don't. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
You shouldn't be.
I truly believe in looking at others and be like, that dude's an inspiration, or she's an inspiration. She's having all this perceived success, but then I also can see if it's real or if it's fake. And if it's real, I'm super happy for those people. What drives me bonkers, and again, when I started this show, I started it with nothing. Okay. I'm a medical device sales rep. All right. I am a W-2 employee, and I used to try to hide it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a story there, right? I do this because this is my true passion. And one day the right person's going to hear my show or see my show. And guys, then it's all over, right? This is going to be the thing that I do. I don't know if that's next week, next year, 10 years. I don't know. It's not for me to figure out. It's for me to follow my purpose, in which God bestowed upon me, is to do this. This is what I love to do.
Yeah.
But so I like people. winning. What drives me crazy is when I see these shows pop up and they've done 10 episodes and they're announcing they're in the top 1% globally. Like, dude, sweetheart, I know how you did it. You bought it. And if you're okay with that bullshit integrity and get out there and say, I'm a top 1%. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, I can't either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like to be quite honest with you, because I have a lot of listeners. Okay. And I'm top 5% globally. And that changes as more reviews come in. But the bottom line is I haven't shelled out one penny for a fake review, a fake listen, a fake download. And I don't spend thousands of dollars every single month for a podcast promoter to be promoting my stuff. Now, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, but like there's a time and a place. For me, I'm like, and dude, and you know this because you know me personally. You've seen tears well up in my eyes. You've seen the highs and you've seen the lows. I'm that dude that's sitting in the garage hitting off a baseball tee until my hands bleed right now.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm not paying for anything. I cut up my own reels. I edit my own show.
Mm-hmm.
There's some glory in that. And that's who you are too.
Well, and I think it goes just beyond the glory. I didn't cut you off there, did I?
No, absolutely not. If you did, so it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
I think it goes so far just beyond glory, man. What you're doing is it's always going to have something behind it that if you essentially, and what it's like, it's the best phrase you can use for it, pay to play. You have authenticity. That's all there is to it. You have authenticity behind everything you do. As soon as you metaphorically sell your soul and start playing that game, I feel like you lose a little bit of that. You and I have talked about this before. Don't get me wrong, guys. I would love to have 25, 50, 70, 100,000 followers on any platform. I think that's awesome. I'm not paying to play, period. I'm not paying to buy the followers, I'm not paying to buy the likes. I don't want to do that because I'll be honest with you, when I do get a like, when I do get a comment, when I do get something else, whatever it is, I enjoy the opportunity to be able to connect with somebody personally. And I think that we have lost such sight of what social media is about, and it's about social networking. I'm not going to network with 40,000 bots that I bought just to pimp my profile up a little bit, you know? I want to engage with real people. I want real people to know, like, I'm out here, I'm in the corner, I'm in the trenches right here with you guys, but here's the value that I can add to your life. And like I said, Shawn, I think, and that's one of the reasons I respect you so much, brother, is you have a level of authenticity about you that is it going to take you longer than a lot of those people that are paying to play? Probably. It's like the old middle school attitude. The kids that pay to play are on the field, man. But eventually, talent and potential overtake that, and I have to believe in that to be an optimistic kind of guy.
No, and I believe that, dude. And dude, like, and you'll see, like with the pay to play, that's the industry. There's people, you see all these people on stages. Here's what nobody knows. They're paying to be on that stage for the opportunity to be in front of all those people and then sell their programs afterwards. So all this media, right? All this bullshit media that you see people in, it's all paid for.
Yeah.
And these are things, that the reason why I'm speaking about this, because I'm an open book, is I've been caught up in this. I got caught up in when I first started. Oh, I need to buy followers. So, I had a service, take care of it. Now here's the thing. It was cool for the ego at the beginning, like, oh my God, here I am. Like, I'm starting to get a bunch of followers. And I'm not saying all of them are fake. I have a lot of natural traction, but the bottom line is, they can be there, but they don't participate.
Yeah.
They don't engage in your content. What really gets me going is knowing that, okay, I've made that mistake. my engagement has dropped, then it goes back up. And I think that there's just so much competition on this platform, any platform now, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever, or TikTok, there's billions of users.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's making videos now. So if everybody wants to know why their engagements dropped, I hope you're listening to this. It's not because your content sucks. It's not because your captions blow. It's not because you don't have stock videos to like make your shit look cool and Houdini like. It's because the moment you push publish or post, so did 5 million other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, use your heads, guys. Use your heads. Like, that's where we're at right now. And the biggest indicator of that was the pandemic.
Yeah.
People lost their jobs. They had to pivot, right? They're, oh my gosh, I'm going to be an online coach now, right? And then there's some people, and I'm going to shout someone's name out right now. There's someone out there that has made millions and millions and millions of dollars here locally. I might add. I don't know if you know Derek Fay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know Derek. He used to own ATC.
All of them. He sold it for $51 million, and now he's on this platform, million followers on big stages. Okay, that guy's done something.
Yeah.
Here in our own backyard. It's like, cool, man, get up there. And for me, if that guy had to pay to be on a stage with Brad Lee and all these dudes, like, that's warranted, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's warranted. So big shout out to Derek Fay because, you know, he's done it.
Yeah.
He's done it. Like, and by the way, when he sold those around the clock fitnesses, what happened? What shit started breaking? The gym started sucking. Yeah. There's not an around the clock. They just sold out to New York, whatever. They're not even 24 hours. Our gym that we go to, I love that gym, but things are starting to break there too. Yeah. You can't even get clean water.
It's the gym that we're at now, and for everybody that doesn't know, it used to be an ATC. It's been different things now, but I think that just is a testament to ATC. Dude, around the clock it was right in that corner by that Publix forever. And 3 or 4 different gyms. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the one that we're currently in, but yeah, it's the same thing. There are it's the little things that slip through the cracks, and it immediately, my mind never goes to the staff. That's a leadership issue. When you are letting little things slip through the cracks, it's because you're not handling the little things to set the example for them to want to do it. I get it, dude. Those guys, they're not in the gym. They're not in their own gyms, but maybe once a month. But if the integrity of the gym changes, like with Derek, Derek was a freaking genius with what doing. But when the integrity changes, the work ethic changes, and the culture changes. And don't get me wrong, I think the energy and the atmosphere and stuff in our gym now is great, but there's a level of professionalism that is missing.
Yeah, and again, it's going to take somebody like a Derek Fay to come back in and run those gyms, and for it to be successful. Long term, right? We're getting in the weeds here. You mentioned something, and I want to cover it. Like, when you filled out your not your application, but your form, for the show. So we had some talking points, which I didn't feel we needed. It's just my process. So thank you for following it, and thank you for really giving a shit, dude. Because I want to tell my listeners this, like, and my viewers, is this guy here, Josh, my buddy. He's a lot like me, neurotic to a fault. Hey, bro, do we need to hop on a call before the show so we can know what direction we're going in? And me already knowing, my show, obviously, and Josh has listened, he knows my show, but then also knowing my relationship with him, I'm like, yeah, bro, we don't really need to, but call me later. And he didn't call. So I was like, yeah, dude, he's ready. He knows. But thank you for caring so much.
Yeah, man.
Right? Because there's a lot of individuals, and there's a big fitness guy, big, right? You may remember him at the beginning of the pandemic, got shut down, got fined. Big beard.
Yeah.
He filled out an application to be on my show.
Yeah.
And the responses were, I don't care. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I canceled the show.
Yeah.
I didn't record. I'm not going to record with people that aren't going to take my show and me seriously, because it's personal. I'm building something. So again, thank you. back to the topic.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that your story isn't exceptional, and it's such a Shawn French thing to say.
Well, that's
Because I'm
humble. That's the humility. The humility.
yeah, right. But it's also, I think, to be fair, an unfair measure of what success looks like. Okay. So, I look at this and, you've come into this business and right away you see that there's some gaps in your in your business, and you joined a group and you hired this guy that is $500 a month, and at the time you're only making $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So you're taking $12,000 for the year and dividing that in half and only bringing in 6,000. You have a wife, child, you get 2 on the way. That first month, what was the result after you did that?
I ended up being maybe a couple $100 short of 10K, which is unheard of for me. And it, dude, to be honest with you, it wasn't even 1,000, because what I wasn't taking into consideration is the company that I use for all my transactions, they take a cut, and it was like, I mean, obviously it was still 900s, but like, I'm not even making $1,000 a month. I remember when I walked in and I asked my wife, I said, look, I feel strong about this. I feel like I'm being led in this direction. I want to do this. What do you think? And I can say right now, you want to talk about gaining respect for your partner and somebody that like you can tell they believe in you. Dude, she was like, let's do it. Like, pull the trigger. We'll figure it out. Dude, that to me is like, dude, that puffs your chest up, man. It makes you indestructible, dude. The person that I'm doing life with is looking at our current situation, which is, you can't even say it's not good. It's borderline just bad. And she's like, let's roll with it, dude. But man, the big thing for me with doing all of that was I talk to so many people on a daily basis about investing in their health and investing, into fitness and nutrition and all these things. And I could not stand the money objection, because to me, your health is your wealth. Like, it's a no brainer. But I felt like there was also a part of me that was like, I can't really connect with these people because I don't understand where they're coming from. Brother, I tell you what, anytime somebody gives me a money objection on a call now and about any of this stuff, I tell them, beat my situation. And I get it. The comparison game is a dangerous game, but let's play it. You are making less than $1,000 a month, and you decide to invest in something for $500 a month for a year. Then you can tell me, yeah, man, money's just too tight. But until then, and we've had this conversation too. How can I say I'm doing everything I can to accomplish X, Y, or Z? Are you though?
Yeah, I remember. I think that was those are my exact words in Panera that day. I'm like, but are you actually?
Yeah.
Like, are you actually doing everything that you need to do in order to be successful? And I mean, we were having conversations of like, hey, maybe I just go into construction again. And I remember sitting there and I had a visceral response inside, and I didn't show it, or at least I don't think I showed it. I was like, how can I best support this guy right now? And for me, it was just listening.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, okay, cool. Well, why don't you think about it? And then I'll help you put your resume together.
Yeah.
And, because right then I'm thinking, you've been in sales this whole time and you're talking about construction. Like, bro, you're not ready. You're not ready to leave this industry because you can't even see your resume.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking, I'm like, well, and then I asked you this very pointed question, and I hope, and for the audience, I asked him this question. First of all, let me back up. He said, I'm going to give it 30 days. And it was almost fucking comical. He goes, that's just like, all right, Josh, I'm going to, work out with you for 30 days. But if I'm not shredded and, and if I can't see the V, then I'm gone. Right. I'm just sorry I quit. I said to him, like, what are you really going to find out in 30 days?
Yeah.
It's going to take you like 90 days to see the true, like, even a little bit of growth.
Mhm.
And I think it hit home. And then your first month, you did almost 10 grand.
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
Yeah. Well, dude, it was, well, I mean, you were right, but
Yeah.
dude, it was, yeah, man, it was, I remember sitting there saying, I'm going to give it 30 days. And like, yeah, if I had my clients do that, I wouldn't have clients. So, but yeah, dude, it was the first 30 days went well. The second set of 30 days, you know, I think I was 5 days in and I had already made like I can think right around 5 grand 5 days in, dude, and that was like averaging a grand a day. So, and for somebody that has my entire family is in education, they've always been.
Mhm.
So again, I respect that level of work, I respect that field. Not a very high paying industry. So the idea of ever even making $1,000 a day for an entire month, like I would have laughed in your face. So
Here's what I'm hearing. Gonna quit in 30 days. And then 45 days later, you've made 15 grand.
yeah. Yeah.
What type of response emotionally does that create for you?
Dude, I think it's one of I don't even know if it's necessarily the biggest emotional response obviously is it's just gratitude and joyful. Like dude, I was losing what made me want to do this job. I was so focused on money, 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 money. Got to pay the bills. Got to be successful. I got to have this persona that I put on social media of success. Because why would anybody want to work with a broke trainer? You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that there was this level of gratitude and satisfaction. And wow, this stuff's actually starting to work. But dude, I think the biggest thing that triggered was a internal review, which I think a lot more people need to do on a much more frequent basis. And it was, let me think about how I felt in this time frame. Where was my set at? Where were my emotions? How do I make sure that I never see that mother trucker again ever? I never want to feel like that again. I never want to be in that financial state again. I never want to be just that level of miserable and stressed. So what do I need to do to make sure that never happens? And a lot of people, they don't do that. It's like, well, I'll just try. You know, we've talked about this. I'll just keep trying. So,
Well, I think it's important to understand that because, trying is cool, right? It's fine. But if you're not intentional and you don't know how to do something, like, dude, your biggest hole or biggest gap in performance was you didn't have a process. And then we did some onboarding for me, and I'm loving your program.
yeah.
Like I'm thriving in it. We had a bad week and a half where I tweaked my back because I'm old, but we're
Yeah.
back on, right? And the thing that I noticed is you have a process, and you put me through it, and now I can see why, right? Now to me, it's evident why now you're 45 days after you're thinking this is it for me, you made 15 grand. It's because there's something in place. And ladies and gentlemen, there's just one part. He goes, send me the pic. Like, what in the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't have time for this shit. I'm sitting there trying to do 500 different things. Like, I'm trying to figure out, am I going to relaunch my show? How am I going to relaunch it? I'm starting this new job. I'm like, literally going through onboarding, and this guy's asking me about a picture. Like, he's like, did you read the whole thing? I'm like, bro, I read the whole thing. Okay. Like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. Grass-fed butter if you eat butter. Shut up, man. I got it. I'm ready to roll. Let's just go through this.
Oh boy.
But then I scroll all the way. I finally read it again, and I'm like, all the way down. I'm like, nothing. I'm like, he wants me to send a picture of his dog? And the moral of the story is very detail oriented, right? Very process driven, very intentional. And I think that is the biggest shift in your business.
Yeah.
And I like it. It was funny. And it made me look at myself like, okay, you really weren't reading through the whole thing. You thought you had the whole idea.
Yeah.
You had the whole idea, but you missed one important step, which is seeing the dog and sending him the picture of the dog.
Yeah.
Regardless of how I felt about whether it was a dog or whether it's you guys are going over your calories by 200 or you just didn't make that sales call when you said you're going to, or do the thing with your kids that you said you're going to, those things compound.
Yeah. No.
And relationship with yourself and others are broken because of those compounding things that you just aren't paying attention to.
Dude, the point of the dog isn't just to kind of be a turd. The point of the dog is to get people to do exactly what you did, and that's start to question. Okay, he put this picture of a dog in here for me to send to him to see if I've actually read the whole thing. So now I have to ask myself, how much am I really invested in this? And that's a big thing. And I'll tell you what, dude, it's a big thing for the guys because guys, dude, most men are attack dogs. You point them in the direction. They don't care about the ins and outs of things. You just point them and say, go, and they go. Women become the very, but it's, I don't want to say reserved, but they want to make sure that they are doing everything the perfect way. That kind of becomes a hindrance too. There's pros and cons of both. But the point of the dog is to get people to say, dang, all he asked me to do was read through this thing. How invested am I? But I'll tell you what I'm telling you, it kicks in a different level for people before they start the program because they know now I'm not necessarily watching every single aspect of this and expecting perfection, but I'm going to put everything I have into this. I expect you to do the same. It's exactly what you said about filling out the interview for the podcast. I have this irrational fear is not the right word for it, but this irrational anxiety of when I do something, if I don't try to do it to the best of my ability, am I going to miss an opportunity? Am I going to show that I don't care? Like you said, the other am I going to, not deliver the best product, not just of what I do, but of myself to somebody? I would challenge everyone to ask themselves this. Have you ever heard somebody say something negative about giving the best that you have with everything you do? Or have you ever heard somebody say anything negative about, maybe if it's a big thing, I'll give it all I have. But if it's a little thing, I'll just kind of just do what I have to do to get it done.
Yeah, I think it's very important for people, myself included, and you and everybody watching and listening, is take inventory of where else that might be showing up in your life. To me, that was big. And it's like, where else am I missing? And at that point, you got to be careful not to go down a rabbit hole too, right? You got to be careful. You got to have the emotional intelligence and, the mental acuity to go, well, all right, I can only do what I can do, right? Don't go in the weeds and be like, oh my God, this is why I am here. And then you're looking at, this is why the car I have, and oh my God, I could be doing better. That's not what it's for.
No.
Just like, guys, small changes of just being present. I think being present is exactly it, right? That's what it called out for me. It's like, dude, you're not present right now. Like you need to be more present. And it is difficult. I have 3 children. You'll soon learn what that's like, right? And, I have a sales career and I have this show, and it's like I'm married, and then I have to take care of my own body, and I'm constantly at war with myself, right? And it's important to be present, because if you're not present, you can't take inventory of how you really feel.
No, not at all, dude. I think that brings up a really interesting point. How many people listening to the show, whether they're going to be watching it or whatever, how many of you look at the blessings in your life and you start to I'm not saying this is what you did, this is what you did, Shawn, but it brought up a good point. How many of you look at a blessing in your life and you start to twist something that you should fully show appreciation for, and it starts to turn into an excuse? I see this all the time. I see moms and dads say, well, my kids or my job or, this circumstance, my spouse. And it's like, you have a beautiful spouse. You have incredible, healthy kids. You have a job where somebody is giving you pretty much guaranteed income. And that's the reason that you can't accomplish going to the gym. That's the reason that you can't meal prep on the weekend. I'll never understand that, ever.
It's funny because I'm just pulling up our notes here. Forgive me. turning your blessings into your adverse situations is never a good way to, one, honor the things that you have or the people you love, and then to have more in your life, because it's showing you're ungrateful.
Yeah.
And if you're an ungrateful ass, God's not gonna bless you with anything more if you're not happy with what you have. Right? Like, I look around all the time and I'm thinking, like, I need to be here, but I'm here. I'm like, wait a second. I look around, look at my house, I look at my children. Like, man, let's be honest, man. Ugly kids are a thing.
Yeah.
I don't have them.
No.
I don't. I mean, like, it's just, it's amazing to me how gorgeous my kids are. And
Genetics, so
what's that?
I said your kids are they got on the good side with the genetics. They got a Division I dad and a pretty mom, so they got lucky there.
I think they got a pretty dad too. I'm sorry. Yeah. I said it on air, right? I'm marginally handsome, and it's just one of those things where, just being grateful for the things that we have. And again, guys, I'm not sitting here telling you guys I'm the pillar of gratitude. I get in my own shit, and I struggle with this. And I just think that's because I cave into societal pressure sometimes. And I think that's also a real thing, Josh. And it brings me to a great point. Let's talk about societal pressure in nutrition and fitness.
Oh boy.
It's always so a couple things I want to cover here. The first one I want to cover is, why is alcohol the only drug that you have to explain that you're not using?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know, Shawn. I don't. And I know where you're leading to with this, but I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on it first. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I think it's because it's legal. It's been legal, yeah. Right? When you're 15 and your girlfriend's parents are away, you guys have a little party, someone scores a 6-pack and you're sapping on some beers. It's kind of like a societal norm to enjoy your friends and your family over alcohol and food, right?
Yeah.
So in America, you attach anything fun and anything depressing to alcohol and food. So you get into these weird eating patterns, right? Having poor relationship with food and alcohol. And I look back at my life and I have a very poor relationship with food. Like, this, I will binge at times. Like I will binge. My one of my best friends, Steven, he's the same way. And he is a very successful online fitness coach, in great shape. But and he openly talks about it. That's why I'm bringing his name up. He almost died. He had to have emergency surgery because he ate too much peanut butter. I mean, it is a thing. I know. But so for me, when I'm growing up, at family reunions, there's a ton of food. And I had a great childhood. My family, like my grandma, my aunt, my great grandparents, amazing. And we go up to Clear Lake, California, every September, the week before Labor Day, or the Labor Day weekend. We have a family reunion. Okay. And I'm going somewhere, guys, stay with me. And, all these snacks would be on the table out in front, right? In the patio. But then the adults would sit in a circle, and they would drink beer all day. And we'd have this Diablo dip. We'd have good food. And then they'd throw in the Randy Travis in the gray boombox. And the adults would sit out all night and drink and have farting contests. And, it was just ridiculous, right? And then, Christmas and the holidays was no different. So I think at a young age, we see this as normal.
Yeah. So here's my typical explanation for that, and I'm glad you said what you had to say. My question when it comes to the alcohol, the food, the stuff that people don't, it's like you said, it's not this insanely frowned upon thing. Obviously, alcoholism and becoming an alcoholic is not something that we celebrate. But my question is this: where is the self-discipline? Because self-discipline, not even self-discipline, true discipline does not change whether you're in a setting with other people or whether you are in a setting with yourself. And I think that what people do is they negotiate with themselves so often on a single basis, whether it's just by themselves. It's even worse when they're in a social setting. I can tell you right now, I have very little issue going out and having a good time with people that I want to be around and not having a single drop of alcohol. Now, I'm not saying that that's what people should do is cut alcohol out entirely. No, I'm not going to dive into the health effects that alcohol has on sleep and recovery. But if you want to go out and drink socially, that's fine. But here's my question: where is the discipline of yourself to say to kind of question that? Why do I need this? Why do I need to binge eat this food? And to be honest with you, I think it's so linked to where we are at in today's society with everyone needs and is just desperately searching for immediate gratification.
Yeah, I like
my
that.
Amazon package is going to take 2 days. It's not 1 day delivery anymore. People lose their mind. You know,
hey, listen, you can't talk about that yet because until you've had your kids in elementary school and it's Spirit Week and you fucking forgot and you need a shirt in a day, don't talk.
But people forget. What about? Did we forget about
I'm teasing.
Walmart, dude? You can go down to Walmart and grab those same things. But
hey, bro.
That's
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's my point. But and I look at it in so many different areas. Is like, dude, you'll see people in marriages too. What's one of the biggest no-nos people don't talk about in marriage, and one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a spouse, obviously, is if you're not loyal. But it all comes down to you're looking for something that's so immediate in gratification. So if we get out of the serious end and we go towards the food end, why do I need to eat this whole plate of cookies just because I'm at a family reunion? Because I'm looking for immediate gratification. I know how it's going to make me feel now. I'm not thinking about what it's going to do long term. I'm telling you, the most successful people I know, I'm not just talking about finances, guys. I'm talking about the people I know that are doing financially well and they're doing exceptional in their relationships and they're great moms and great dads and they are fit and healthy people. They are so focused on building a foundation for what is going to benefit them the most in the long run that the short term is almost non-existent for them. They don't focus on what's going to make me feel good now. They focus on what's going to make me feel great for the next 10 years.
Yeah, John, I want to thank you for that because I struggle with that with nutrition, right? Like there's times where I'll make that decision on immediate gratification. I want to taste that sugar. I want to taste that pizza. Right. And like, so for me, that hits home. So thank you. Now I want to go back to the alcohol real quick. Then I want to shift to a very last topic because we're getting close to the end here. I can talk to you for 17 hours. It wouldn't bother me.
Yeah. Right.
We can turn this into a Joe Rogan episode. I just don't, I don't have time. I can't. And you don't either. Man, the alcohol, I don't know. And I think it goes deeper than self-gratification with alcohol. And I want to, we don't have to take too much time on this, but I just want this to make abundantly clear. I think it's more than that.
I would agree.
I think people are afraid not to be liked. And if they don't drink alcohol, they're going to be judged, and nobody wants to be judged. Everybody wants friends. Nobody wants to be left out of the next invite to Miller's Ale House because they're just going to have wings and celery.
Yeah, dude. Shawn,
it's the truth.
Let me ask you something. Give me just think in your mind of a list of like 5 to 10 of your best friends. You guys are all getting ready to go out. Okay. They say, hey, Shawn, we're going to go out. We're going to get some drinks. If you tell them, nah, man, I can't go out and get drinks. I really got to go home and work out. Are they going to be like, oh, dude, I completely understand that, man. Good for you. Go take care of your body. Or do they start giving you crap?
No, they're going to call me a little bitch. I'm like, dude, what do you mean you're going to have to go work out now? It's 8 p.m. Don't you work out in the morning? Well, what happened to you? Don't punish us because you're bad mistakes. That's what my friends would say.
Yeah, it's well, and that's think the thing, man. That's I would say, I would say it's the same way with most people, and I think that their understanding of I know this pressure is going to come. I know this is what they're going to say. That doesn't motivate them to make a better decision in that moment. Why am I going to refuse having a good time? It's like you said, if they're going to look down and on me and give me crap for it and all this stuff, and it's like, dude, build a level of self-respect for yourself to where you can say, like, who cares? Who cares? I think I
Yeah.
just heard, who was it the other day? I think it was the guy that owns, I'm not going to use a bunch of names, but it was the guy that owns a bunch of very successful hit jams across the country. And he made a comment about,
Mm.
and I'll tell you what, I don't always agree with everything he says. I don't necessarily like the approach he takes to it, but what he said has validity behind it. And, people will jump at pulling you into situations that don't make you better. Like why would you go home and work out when you can come and drink with us? But it's
Mhm.
very rare that somebody goes, dude, you don't need to come out and drink. You need to go home and work out. You're committed to a goal. I respect that. Go do what you got to do. And that's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. And dude, I know who you're talking about. And it just reminded me I haven't dropped the episode yet. But
No.
that's pretty it's so funny. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know why. I don't know why. Um, but I agree with you, man. If someone would have told me that, I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, go work out. We're gonna push back a half an hour. We're gonna go before you. You meet up. Come get some food. You're gonna have to eat after workout anyway. Don't drink. Who cares? We just want you there.
Yeah.
But again, higher level of maturity. I don't judge my friend's worth based on if they ingest alcohol or not.
No.
I think that's a stupid way to go. I also want everybody to understand it's also, equally destructive to make it your whole life. Like, if you have a fitness goal, like I've done 75 hard many times, and all it did was distance me from my family because my full-time job was working out, doing my nutrition, reading books, doing all this kind of stuff. When I'm not saying those things are bad, but I'm saying, like, when I can't go to the beach because I'm afraid to miss my workouts, I'm going to fail day 15. Like, how is that controlling my life?
Dude,
It's not.
yeah. I
Um,
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's just kind of how sometimes my mind goes back to it. Like, oh, I could do it again. Maybe I just go for a walk at night.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more than that. It's not. It's more than just the second workout. It is, to me. It brings out this perfection complex that turns me into an absolute monster, and I can't stand him. I don't like that dude.
Yeah. Dude, things like 75 hard, I feel like they're effective for an incredibly small populace of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that somebody that isn't, formally lazy and doesn't have a high work ethic can't do 75 hard and do well with it. I'm just saying if you look at the people that do it, it's typically very driven people. But I can tell you, Shawn, that's the biggest mistake that 95% of people make when it comes to their fitness and nutrition journey is the 0 to 100 approach. I have to go
Yeah.
not working out, not meal prepping, not counting calories or macros or taking care of my body, whatever it is. I have to just completely flip everything. I have to be working out 5 to 6 days a week. I have to know every single ounce of everything that's going into my body. And if I miss a workout, to have a date night with my wife, then I'm a loser and I'm not chasing my goals the way I should. It's dumb. And it's,
Yeah. It turns into deprecation,
yeah.
man.
Well,
And for the record, you've done it and you had amazing results. And I remember when you came out and you're like, guys, you don't need it. I'm like, oh, no, you didn't. But I'm thinking about it. I'm like, dude, yeah, he's right.
yeah,
You don't.
that was another message to take that post down because we don't want to insult anybody's role models, but dude,
Yeah.
man, is
Oh, yeah. Especially mini Andy. You don't want to piss him
yeah,
off.
I know, dude, but I respect where Andy's coming from with that program. I respect
Sure.
do. Like, you're not going to do 75 hard and just get worse in all these areas. You might not get better in every area, which that was the thing that I discovered from it. But here was my biggest thing with that, and this is the biggest bit of advice that I would give anybody that's thinking about getting their life together as regards to their health is, what is it about 75 hard that you think you need in order to be successful? And I see people that have lost weight and gained it back, or been consistent and lost the consistency, and they're like, well, I need to do 75 hard to get back into it. Okay, this is the issue though. You are relying on a program give you a level of confidence to think that you have the worthiness to accomplish something, rather than go, I have everything that I need to be successful. It just comes down to me making the decision to do it.
Yeah, we're getting into external anchors now, right? And that's another topic, right? In which I covered on on my last episode with Brian Bogert, who's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that episode, it's so good. But I mean, that's the thing, right? I do want to touch on another topic. I mean, we're 53 minutes in right now.
Yeah.
Let's just round out the hour and do this. And by the way, this is probably I think my longest show that I've had. And I'm here for it and I love it. I feel like we've been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Is simply this. Man, these assholes, they're let me back up real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Audience,
What are we talking about here?
I have to get this thought out because it just hit me. If you guys haven't figured it out by now, by listening to me over the last 3 years, you know I have a very high level of ADHD. All right, so leave me alone. All right, I see a butterfly and I'm gone. 75 hard is a lead magnet to first form.
100%.
And he is a freaking genius. There's nothing, dude. I have nothing negative to say about the real Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
The big one, the big tall one.
Yeah.
The actual one. He's amazing. Like the genius behind 75 hard drives people to first form, and it has exploded his brand.
Yeah.
And it's almost comical when these network marketing companies feel like, I keep losing the first form and I can't figure out why. I'm like, are you watching?
Yeah.
Like, are you watching? Like, he has literally captivated the whole country and people in Canada because of his marketing skills. He is a genius. Andy, I love you, man. Great program, great lead magnet, phenomenal business plan.
Yeah.
I had to say that.
No, dude, I agree. I think you want to know what 75 hard has done more than anything else I've seen. It's built a cultural movement.
Yes.
Has built a group of people that just want to be what it is. They want to be a group of hard-nosed mother truckers that have a level of discipline that's legitimately unheard of. And I can say right now, I respect that.
Go ahead.
Something I want to make sure that I say is I have nothing against the 75 hard program. I don't think it is the most successful program out there. But dude, I ran 75 hard, and I can tell you right now, I was 6.5%, 7% body fat down in 75 days.
Bro, you look like you look like my TRX.
Dude,
like you were menacing.
It was I think that was one of the best physiques that I've ever built. But so yeah, it's not. I will not tell you that it's not effective for sure.
No, it's effective. I got down to 179 pounds.
Jeez, dude.
I was probably doing like 30,000 steps a day, though. I mean, you got to think I was running 5 miles every day.
Yeah.
And now I can't run at all. I wonder why.
Yeah.
So the last topic, and I think I really want the audience to hear this because it's something that you and I talk about. We kind of make fun of all the time. Is these assholes talking about these specialty diets like carnivore or keto? Keto sucks,
dude. I just posted about it yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Bro, I literally can't stand them. I'm gonna be with you. And here's the funny part. I struggled for a while to grow my following on social media, and then I started there's a couple people I follow because I like some things they say, but they get radical with stuff. And a big one is, and I can use his subtitle because people know who it is. Carnivore MD. I'm not going to use his real name, but he's a smart guy. He's a doctor. He's I think he's a psychiatrist, I believe. But he has come out of nowhere, probably the past, I would say 7 to 10 years, with this as a nutrition expert. And here's my issue: is there was a post he made the other day, completely demonizing spinach because spinach is high in oxalates, and not to get into the sciencey side of things, but like oxalates obviously aren't the best thing for you, but our body produces them naturally. But these guys, what you're talking about, the fad diets, they will take one thing, and this is what I said in my video, and they will absolutely hone in on that one thing to discredit any other diet. Like vegetarians do it with meat. Well, red meat causes cancer and it kills you. There's no legitimate statistical evidence that's really like it can be portrayed across multiple case studies that shows that it's wrong. But it's the same thing with carnivores. is carnivores will tell you, well, vegetables and all of these things and the oxalates and linoleic acid and defense chemicals are what's killing you. And it's like, if you're predisposed to that kind of thing, yeah. But what you're saying, it drives me up a wall, because what what pissed me off the most about the post about spinach was that, like, third comment down was somebody saying, well, if spinach isn't good anymore, then I just give up. That is the problem with these.
Mm-hmm.
You take somebody that's eating McDonald's and Taco Bell and Burger King every day, and I'm switching to a spinach salad and a spinach wrap and this, and they see that post. Why wouldn't I just go back to eat McDonald's? And if this is bad too, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the big thing around these fad diets, like Whole30, keto, carnivore, whatever, they're all successful because you're depleting your system of something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like with carnivore, you're working on calories, fats, and proteins. And and everybody knows, as long as you hit your calories and your protein for the day, you're gonna look good.
Yeah.
But if you deplete yourself of carbohydrates, you're gonna flatten out very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? All that water is gone. But the moment you eat a carbohydrate, you're cooked. You're just gonna blow back up because you're gonna binge
Yeah.
it because you've been depleted for so long. But the one common denominator in all these fad diets is people are just looking to do something quickly.
Yeah. It's fast results, dude. That's all it is. But again, that goes with the immediate gratification thing we talked about. Dude, for
Yeah.
anybody listening, if you want to know the legitimacy behind all these diets, all of them, what all of them collectively have in common: keto, paleo, carnivore, animal-based, vegan, vegetarian. Here is what they all do that will get you results. They are removing a lot of the processed food from your diet: the chips, the pretzels, the donuts, the stuff that's loaded with stuff that just they're all inflammatories. They're all removing those processed foods, and they're putting you in a calorie deficit. Guys, you have to try to not lose weight and burn fat with those two things going on. You're going to tell me that you're going to remove the things that bloat me, and then you're also going to deprive me of an energy source so that my body has to start burning more and more frequently. That's the magic pill behind all of it, guys. They all have it in common. Here is where I would challenge you to start to look at the legitimacy of these programs. Is I did borderline carnivore, but it was really animal based for a year for my bulk. I have been in stellar health my entire life. My blood work has always come back with flying colors. My liver enzymes were up. My kidney numbers were up. My cholesterol was a 159. My LDL, which is not good. My AST, my ALT, which that's the numbers were up. Because nobody talks about, well, what do these diets look like in a surplus? It's all what I said. You're depriving people of calories and you're removing the bullcrap from their diet. That's any successful diet.
Yeah. I think the important thing, y'all, is to understand one very important point that Josh is talking about. And if you have any questions, his contact information is going to be in my show notes. You can go on my Instagram and find Coach Josh Marciano, and indulge in his content and connect with him, and hell, hire him, right? Hire him as your coach. I mean, listen, if you want someone that's going to give it to you straight, he's one of those dudes. But the thing is, you're going to have to understand is he's talking about one thing: calorie deficit. And he's going to put you in a calorie deficit too, but he's going to do it a very natural way, right? I remember the first week on his program, I said, Josh, I can't eat anymore. This is brutal. I'm taking in 230 grams of protein right now. That's a lot. I think one of my comments was like, bro, where are my carbs?
Yeah.
He's like, well, you're an endomorph, dude. Like, that's where we're going. I'm like, 115 carbohydrates a day. Like, what are you trying to do to me? And the reality is my fats are to a level, my proteins to a level that's keeping me satiated. Right. And so there's plenty more ways, more than one way to skin a cat, as we've always understood. But just understand one thing: when you're looking to, create habits to get in better physical condition, better mental capacity, or whatever it is you're doing, because your fitness level and your nutrition is going to aid that mental capacity, is just make small improvements and be in a calorie deficit and prioritize protein.
Yeah.
You do that for 6 months. You're going to be very pleased with yourself. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So, well, shoot, dude. Real quick, you have a program that people can, get into if they're looking to try you out a little bit. I don't know if you're doing it anymore. Are you still doing the 21-day kind of intro thing, or have you shit canned that?
I am, dude. I am. So I'm actually,
Cool.
I'll actually, it's tough. I think I'm gonna have a 14-day free challenge that I'm gonna run year round. I'm actually getting ready to announce that probably today. But I'll probably run that year round just because it allows people to kind of slide into the program and see what it's like, get a taste for it, and whatnot. But that would be my best bet for people, or my best recommendation for people is because look, I get it. I understand it's anything like anything else. It can make you hesitant when you start to make that journey, but I promise you guys, it's, and Shawn, you can attest this too. When you start to build a healthy and fit body, when you walk into the room, there's a different level of respect for you. It's not this meathead obsessed with himself or herself approach anymore. There's you become a status symbol because the only way for them to have built that body is through hard work, sacrifice, determination, and that's it. That's it.
That's it.
And I would push that.
Well said, man. Well said. So guys, hit them up, check them out, enroll in the free 14-day program. I'm always going to allow my guests to plug their stuff, especially this man, Josh, dude. It's been a great, great pleasure. We are an hour and 5 minutes in, and hey, bro, it was meant to be. I love you, dude. Thank you for being such an amazing friend and such a steward of your industry. Until next time, guys. Josh, thanks again, and we'll see you guys soon.
Appreciate you, brother. Have a blessed day, man.